The teachers not only impart knowledge, they improve the behavior and attitudes of the students by role modeling as well, and by giving them instructions and guidelines. So classroom remains to be the classical avenue where teaching and learning processes taking place, and within these four walls, teacher is solely responsible for maintaining a conducive environment necessary for teaching learning process. Classroom is a sort of mirror also. In this mirror, the outsiders can see what is happening in there. So the experienced educationists say that show me your classroom and I will tell you who you are. Apparently, this is a very simple saying, but it has got deep meanings. Show me your classroom and I will tell who, meaning by seeing the body language of the teacher, seeing the posture of the teacher, whether she's seated, she's standing on the rostrum, she's moving in the classroom, she's writing on the blackboard, or seeing the body language of the students. Are they having eye contact with the teacher? Are they sitting still? Are they concentrating their, focusing their attention on what the teacher is doing? Or they are talking with one another, whispering? Or then not only that, student and besides student and teachers, how, what is the arrangement of the class? How is the furniture laid down? What has been written on the board, whiteboard or blackboard, whatever it is? And then there's a green board also containing the instructions, containing different a piece of information. Just seeing these things for a couple of minutes, or even less than a minute, one can make out how efficient the teaching learning process is going on. So class management consists of wide variety of skills and techniques. Every teacher has its own unique style of class maintenance. And so every teacher utilizes different skills and techniques as per his own experience, as per as his own temperament. Teachers used to keep students organized. The main purpose is that the aim of the teacher is that students are organized, they are sitting orderly, they are focused and attentive, and they are performing the task which is assigned to them. And throughout the period which are when they are with the teacher, they are productive during a class. Classroom should be arranged, the furniture should be placed in the way as is required by the method of instruction being used. Whether you're using lecture method, you're using debate method, discussion method, or whatever method. So, and moreover, what is the age of the students? Accordingly, if they are preschool students, you may have different seating arrangement, even different type of furniture for preschool students. For senior students, as they grow, the type of the furniture also suits their requirement. So make sure all students can see and hear clearly. They are seated in a manner that all students can see and hear clearly. And arrange Arrangement is determined by learning activity also. I've already mentioned, in case you have to carry out a discussion, you are using discussion method. So obviously you have to change the seating arrangement to, you have to make them seated in two rows, and each row is facing the other one. Two rows on one row on one side, one row on another side, and each row looking at one another. That is the group discussion. If you are having project method, and each group has say 4 students or 5 students making same project, obviously the students would be seated in a circle, 4 or 5 students, so that they could converse with one another and discuss thoroughly the projects which is in hand. Then allow room and easy access to the proximity control. You need, as a teacher, you need to access and be near to any student when the need arises. Say you are checking the assignments. Say the students are doing the home assignment, not home assignment, sorry, classroom assignment, and you have given them 5-10 minutes to complete the assignment. So in that time, you cannot sit back in your own chair. You have to go around. So you can easily access each student and see how he or she and doing. This proximity or body language is to be taken care of. And what includes in this body language? Your eye contact. The students and teachers' eye contact, their facial expressions, gestures, physical proximity to students. That is, you can get closer to the students when required. And the way you carry yourself will communicate that you are in calm control of the class and mean to be taken seriously. So do not stick to the rostrum. Do not stick to your own teacher chair. Feel free to roam around in the class. Then classroom schedules. Now, budget your academic time. That word budget normally used with reference to money, but here we are using with reference to time. Say if you have got 45 minutes period, then you have to budget it. It means allocate the time, 5 minutes, exchanging the greetings, uh, creating a conducing psychological environment before actually launching on with the topic. Then say another 10 minutes for revision and introduction of new concept, another 20 minutes for teaching methodology and explanation. 5 minutes must be spared at the end to conclude, summarize, and give opportunities to the students for question and answer. And then 5 minutes revision or next day topic. Or if you feel like giving some home assignment, you can give that too. Then one thing which I have partially mentioned before, and would like to stress it again, is the class seating arrangement. With special students, we really keep in mind how we have to make them seated. Normally, the strength of special students is not very high. Say in a mentally retarded students class, they may be 2, 4, 6, and maximum 8. Similarly, for hearing impaired class, they may be 8, 10, 12. That is the maximum. And if the class is overcrowded, may go up to 14. But they have to be seated in semicircle. Semicircle. Teacher sitting right in between, facing all the students in the semicircle. But there are different arrangement, as I said, depending upon the methodology of teaching. desk in rows, front to back. That may be one scenario. Second scenario is desk in rows, side to side. Third scenario is desk in clusters, as I mentioned for projects, etc. And desks in U shape, semicircular U shape. Then wall space. Now cover one or more bulletin boards with colored papers and leave it bare for the purpose of the displaying of students' work. Now, number one is when you have placed the furniture, the furniture should be placed in a manner that the teacher can go around. That means passing. There should be space between wall and the furniture laid down. That is number one sense. Another sense is the walls which are there should be appropriately used. For instance, on the wall in front, you have got a blackboard or a whiteboard. Then at an appropriate, you have got a green board with a cloth, flannel cloth. There you stick important information regarding students. For instance, the names of the students, their addresses, their phone numbers, their type or level of disability, and then the daily timetable, a weekly timetable, 12 months complete academic calendar, and any other requirement. You may place a separate board for students to display their good artwork or good assignment or good even examination paper for the motivation of the students. So the post procedures, assigned duties, calendar, cloth, emergency information, schedules, menu, charts, maps, decoration, etc. These things, whatever is may be required at the time of emergency, should be handily available. Want to minimize undesirable behavior on the part of the students. Then, last but not the least, effective teaching is the rule of thumb. If you are having effective teaching, well, you are likely to minimize the undesirable behavior which may crop up if your teaching is not effective. And how you can make your teaching effective? You can make your teaching effective if you have got plenty of means sufficient in sufficient quantity. You have got AV aids, audio visual aids, because just delivering a lecture may become monotonous. So it is said, tell me and I forget, show me and I might remember, and involve me and I'll understand. So if you want that interest is maintained amongst the student, then you need to take care of this cone of learning. After 2 weeks, this is the survey conducted and proven amongst the students. After 2 weeks, we tend to remember 10% of what we read. After 2 weeks, we tend to remember 20% of what we hear. After 2 weeks, we tend to remember 30% of what we see. And after 2 weeks, we tend to remember 50% of what we see and hear. If a student is seeing as well as hearing, he will at least remember of 50% of what is being said or shown. and 70% of what we say. And then after 2 weeks, we tend to remember 90% of what we say and do. So that if you make the students prepare a project and then speak what is that project about, that is the most effective method of